Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Thursday before the long weekend.
And I'm a thirsty.
You're a thirsty Ed.
Thirsty.
I'm still on the wagon. Thursday is the Friday night of Bay Street here in Toronto, so Ed's going to be out on the town buying everybody drinks if you want to go out there.
Yep.
I'm going to be behaving myself because that's just the mode I'm in. Today, there's so much going on that I am feeling like a chicken with my head cut off.
You're overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed. I lost a little money today on the triple long
I wish I took
ETF.
the other side of that trade.
You know, I was, and people are going to look at the technicals and say, well, what kind of asshole buys on like something that is so overbought? The RSI was well above 80, and it was on its fifth day of a gain. It's way outside of the Bollinger Band on the upside. Everything in the universe was telling me this is not the day to buy a triple long gold. So I did anyways because I really wanted to learn about how these triple leveraged ETFs sort of work, and I learned that you can lose a lot of money in 5 seconds. But anyway, so I saw the market turn against me. I blew out the position. I took a small haircut, but boy, you got to watch those triple leverage things.
Look, you know, RSI over 80 is a bit of a warning sign.
Yeah. Hello. Don't play the stock unless you're gonna go short.
Okay. Didn't know you were practicing.
All my accents are coming out. Yes, okay. Did you ever see the movie Sybil? It was a movie about a woman who had
23 personalities or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm the male version of that.
You know that M. Night Shyamalan or whatever his name, Shyamalan. He's been involved with that thing with Bruce Willis, and you know, it's a trilogy, right?
Yeah.
The guy can.
I don't know it.
Okay, never mind. Hey, he's got a lot of personalities too. McAvoy. James McAvoy is the star, and he plays this guy who's a little bit twisted, and he's got one personality where he can actually climb walls and like a fly, you know, like.
That's a personality? That's more like physical transformation.
Well, that's why this is the next step. But enough said. Enough for that. Let's talk about making money.
Let's talk about making some money. You'll notice that the gold.
Look at that heat map up there. It's all blue.
Well, this is the thing. It's turns out that it was a pretty good day for the old cannabis stock. Second day in a row of mostly good news. Actually, so the only index that has turned negative is the Midas Letter Canadian Venture Index, which is, let's take a quick look at that before we get to what's coming up. It's down 0.27%, so basically flat. Look at Organigram, only up 0.18%. Oxley up 3.5, back to 90 cents. Wow. Interesting. So coming up today, we got a bit of a mixed bag here. So we have Alessandro Bruno is reading the news as our newest news nurse. Sorry, Alessandro, there's just no escaping that moniker. Alvaro Torres joins us from Chiron Life Sciences for a quick update on what's happening there. Trulieve Cannabis CEO Kim Rivers was here, and Nika Domi is going to talk to Kim Rivers. And then we have Normand Champagny. He is the CEO of Quebec Precious Metals, and this is a gold story in Canada that we are going to start buying. So full disclosure, we're going to own it, and we will not to be trusted as per usual because we're conflicted on everything we talk about on Midas Letter. Either we own it, or we're going to own it, or they're a client, or they're going to be a client, or they were a client, or we're going to have options, warrants, shares, you name it. We are conflicted up the yin-yang, so just consider everything you see here in the context of advertising. We, he, and me are just not to be trusted. Not to be trusted. Scoundrels of the first order. Weed.
No, we. That's the French, yes.
Wah.
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 All right, here comes Alessandro with his big debut as the news nurse of the day.
Here's what's making cannabis headlines today. WeedMD reported financial results for the quarter ended June 30th, 2019. Q2 net revenue was $7.9 million. Net income was $12.9 million, or 11 cents per share. At the end of the quarter, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $11.3 million. Indiva Limited reported financial results for the quarter ended June 30th, 2019. Q2 net revenue was $173,500. Net loss was $2.3 million, or 3 cents per share. At the end of the quarter, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $3.9 million. Emerald Health Therapeutic, Inc. reported financial results for the quarter ended June 30th, 2019. Q2 net revenue was $4.6 million. Net loss was $0.5 million, or 3 cents per share. At the end of the quarter, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $2.6 million. Vivo Cannabis Inc. reported financial results for the quarter ended June 30th, 2019. Q2 net revenue was $5.3 million. Net loss was $13.8 million, or 5 cents per share. At the end of the quarter, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $7.4 million. Tilt Holdings Inc. reported financial results for the quarter ended June 30th, 2019. Q2 net revenue was $7.9 million US. Net loss was $48.9 million US. At the end of the quarter, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $4.5 million US. Green Thumb Industries Inc. reported financial results for the quarter ended June 30th, 2019. Q2 revenue was $44.7 million US. Net loss was $22.2 million US, or 12 cents per share. At the end of the quarter, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $135.8 million US. Biome Grow Inc. released consolidated financial statements for the second quarter and first half of fiscal 2019. Revenue in Q2 was $1.35 million, approximately 4 times the level realized in Q1. Net loss and comprehensive loss for the period was $770,000, or 1 cent per share. Halo Labs Incorporated announced it has entered into a letter of intent with respect to the proposed investment by Halo of 1.33 million common shares of Ukiah Ventures Inc. This equals an approximate 17.5% ownership interest in exchange for 5.94 million common shares of Halo. UVI is a cannabis distribution, processing, and manufacturing company providing biomass procurement and value-added services such as drying, trimming, packaging, freezing, and storing cannabis. Khiron Life Sciences Corporation has entered into an exclusive endorsement agreement with the Colombian Association of Gerontology and Geriatrics. CAGG is a scientific and professional association dedicated to the advancement of health and social services for aging populations and geriatric patients at all levels of care. The endorsement agreement with CAGG will see the Khiron medical leadership team present at the association's annual medical congress as a part of a year-long exclusive agreement that also includes outreach programs with healthcare professionals focused on seniors' care. 48 North Cannabis Corporation has closed a definitive agreement to acquire Rare Industries Inc., or QUIL. QUIL is a U.S. multi-state vape technology brand with product distribution in Oregon and Washington, and near-term expansion plans for California and Nevada. High Tide Inc. announced that the Canna Cabana retail stores located in Calgary and Edmonton received their first deliveries of cannabis products from Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis. The company currently has 21 branded Canna Cabana locations selling recreational cannabis products across Canada, inclusive of the new stores. Tilray Inc. announced it has entered into a definitive agreement pursuant to acquire all of the issued and outstanding securities of 420 Investments Limited. 420 is an adult-use cannabis retail operator headquartered in Calgary, Alberta, operating 6 licensed retail locations. Tilray will deliver up to $110 million, consisting of $70 million in Tilray Class II common stock at closing and $40 million in common stock subject to the achievement of certain performance milestones by 420. And that's your news for today. For all the latest cannabis news, visit the Cannabis Daily on MidasLetter.com.
Hey, how about that, eh? If you're a mining company, post-Labor Day special. Actually, no, I don't want to talk about that.
WeedMD's those are interesting numbers.
WeedMD, yeah.
I mean, everything's up.
Well, you know, WeedMD has that big outdoor crop, which has...
That's not far from where I have a real estate.
Really?
Well,
you got a little real estate.
45 minutes.
Nice.
45.
$17 million of biological assets on the balance sheet.
So that's from what they grew. Is that the value of the increase in value of the inventory that's in growing outside?
Well, the biological asset inventory is $17 million worth, of which a portion is probably outdoor and a portion is indoor.
Okay.
Probably, you know, I wouldn't want to make a call on that number.
But I know, you know, I've seen a recent updated video, and they've got a lot of growing going on out there.
Yeah, I'm curious about this right of use asset equipment, which has a $94 million value on the balance on the assets. Right of use asset equipment. So I'm going to scroll down. That's being referenced in note 6. Let's quickly go down and look at note 6 to see what the hell's that is. They reported an 11-cent win, which is like, if that's real earnings, that's incredible. But we have to dig into that before we make that assessment.
Well, it's certainly not just what they sold and what came back and what's left over, because the profit number is bigger than the revenue number.
Right.
So, but I mean, look, the stock's performing as well as anything out there.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, you know, if people start digging in and looking at some of these things. They did what they do for revenue? $7 million in the quarter.
The revenue was. Hell.
Well,
whoa.
News of the day.
You know, there is no. Oh, there it is. They did $8.5 million in revenue.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah, that's up from $2.089 million for the same quarter in 2018.
Yeah, and they still got $11 million in cash.
Yeah, they've got 11.3 million in cash, another 3 million restricted cash total. Well, this is interesting. So the cash, let's see, 14 million, trade and other receivables is 5. We'll call that 19 million. Prepaid expenses. Okay, so call it 19 million in cash and cash equivalents. Prepaid expenses and deposits. Inventory,
well, I don't know. I just go with cash and cash equivalents.
Cash and cash equivalents is 12 million, or 11.3 million.
Yeah, and it was what, 16, 17?
It was 21 million in December 31st, 2018.
And this is for 6 months. So 6 months later, they're down 6-7 million.
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder what it'd be like another 6 months.
Well, this is the thing. They're about to harvest their first outdoor crop.
And so who would they sell? Would that just be put on the market, or they got a buyer for that already?
Well, it's, you know, there's a little bit of debate as to whether a flower grown outdoor in Ontario is going to command the same price as a flower grown indoors in Ontario or anywhere else in Canada. I don't want to make that assessment because I haven't actually tried it, and I'm kind of not really smoking weed anymore, so can't tell you. I would rely on some other experts, and this is the first quarter where we will be seeing qualitative evaluations of cannabis from outdoor and cannabis from indoor. Now, regardless of the quality, from the outdoor, you can make extract. So if we're going into the era of vapes and edibles, then it's great to have a lot of low-cost feedstock for extract, because you're going to be able to sell that in concentrated form around the planet one day. So yeah,
right.
You know, it's unfortunate that the market has deigned to value cannabis on fundamentals at this juncture, because we're only like 1 year into earnings, which are, yes, still losses, because yes, they are still making investments in infrastructure and growth. So it's not really realistic. The bounce that you're seeing in the cannabis stocks today could actually be a case of where institutional investors are coming back and saying, this market's oversold. Now let's clean up.
It's clearly oversold. Clearly oversold, and in the past when it's gotten this oversold, we've had, you know, commensurate snapbacks.
Commensurate snapback?
Well, you know.
Is that a technical term?
You know, maybe commensurate's the wrong word there, but I thought I'd throw it out.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
It's just
big correction, and the S&P's trying to go here, but it can't get over the highs of a few days ago. I'm looking at the chart as we speak.
Yeah.
On the bottom right.
Oh, yeah.
See that chart there? See that green candle today?
What's it up today?
35 points.
So that's why gold and silver are having a shitty day.
Well, you know what? They do sort of move contra, don't they?
They are contraindicative. Contradictory.
Ollie brings to mind Ollie North and the Contra case.
They're inverted to one another.
Inverted.
They're the inverse of each other.
Jesus.
Where do we come up with this terminology?
So just want to point out something here for the guys that are following the S&P. So you had a high there. That tried to get there, but then it fell below. We had another test of that. And now we're sort of getting into a bit of a pennant here where it looks like we're going to narrow out, and then whichever way that breaks is probably where you can make some money. But right now it's still...
A pennant, you say?
Well, that term is not something I made up, but pennant, you know, higher... It narrows down like a shape of a pennant.
So it looks like a consolidation of price.
Yeah, and then when that, I mean, you know, you two lines eventually converge.
Well,
then you go the other way.
Wow.
Okay.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
And then you know, today with that big move in the S&P, gold got punished. And yesterday, to me, it just said, you know, up. How many days in a row can it be up?
How many? Oh, that was a rhetorical question.
One less than you think.
So it looks...
Okay.
That was you talking to me, talking to you, talking to me.
Okay.
Yeah, 95 people are watching in our audience right now.
Good.
I just want to say hello to everybody. Nika Domi is in our audience. I don't know how she does that. She's left the building.
Unbelievable. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere.
She's everywhere. But yeah, she's going to come in and have a chat with Kim Rivers from Trulieve in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk to my good friend and CEO of Khiron, Alvaro Torres from Bogota. Alvaro Torres joins me now. Khiron Life Sciences live from Bogota. Alvaro, how are you doing today?
Hey, Jim, how are you doing? It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. Bit of a reversal in the cannabis market, and I saw some interesting news from Khiron today that you'd received approval from a Colombian government-affiliated group.
Yes, so, you know, we continue to work to be able to get sponsored for medical conferences and medical associations. Now I think we are up to 7 or 8, and this is just another stepping stone to be able to start prescribing medical cannabis soon. So very excited.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, you're making progress towards, your revenue is growing, adjusted EBITDA of 7.7 million, nonetheless a loss consistent with the entire sector. What is the outlook for the next few quarters?
Well, I think, Jim, the most important aspect of our operation the next 6 months is to be able to start our medical sales. We've been talking about this for 2.5 years since we met also a year ago, and now we're very close to being able to start selling medical cannabis. And we're just waiting for a couple of more regulatory hurdles to go through. But we're expecting to be able to do this in Colombia. and hopefully being able to start shipping product to patients in Latam as well by the end of the year. So very exciting times, as well as continuing to sell our Quida products, increasing the distribution across the different retail networks, and also the launch of our Serenia clinic, which will be very significant for us. As you know, that's a significant channel for education and patient adoption. So very exciting next 6 months, I can tell you that. Very happy.
So is the delay in getting your product onto shelves in Colombia, is that consistent across the industry there? Is it specific to Khiron, or is it the case of the progress of the medical authority there?
No, I don't think there's been any delays. What we've been talking about for the last 6 months is always to try to get to Q3 and Q4. You follow our story very closely, so we've been going through all the approvals on seed registration. We have over 22 seeds now registered that are being cultivated, and now that we finalized some parts of that cultivation, we're just now ready to begin sales. So no more delays than we expected over a year ago. And I think what the government of Colombia is trying to do is to do things right. And once we are able to start selling, there will be no stopping it.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, Alvaro. Now, what is the market looking like in terms of Colombia? On the medical side, you've got the ability to sell medical products directly to patients. On the cosmeceutical side, you're already selling Quida products in stores in Colombia, correct?
Yes, and since November last year.
And is that the source of your revenue, the major source?
So we have two sources right now, Jim. One, of course, is our clinic. We did an acquisition of a neurological clinic called Islands that gives us about $2.1 million every quarter for now, which is in line with what we had expected since we acquired it. And the other line of revenues is Quida, which is taking form as we start to educate a lot of consumers on the benefits of CBD and cosmetics. And you can start seeing that building up as more retail chains are taking up our products. So we're very excited about what's happening in this Q3 and Q4, because now that we have groups like the Éxito Group, which is part of the Casino Group out of France, is the largest retailer in Colombia, to start opening up the shelf space for us. That gets us very excited to be able to continue to sell Quida. We reported revenues of about $2.2 million for the quarter, which, for now us is very significant considering we went public almost only a year and a half ago. Companies in Canada have been doing this for 5 years. So, we're very happy that we are striving and trying to catch up, even in a market that's just starting.
Sure. And is the partnership with Dixie progressing towards your product being available in the United States?
Yes, so we are very excited about that. As you know, we recently announced that we got TSX approval to be able to export Quida to the United States. So right now, what's in the plan is working on the marketing plan, on the launch plan, which states can we go on, and continue to working on regulators to understand, for them to understand what the product is about. And alongside Dixie as well, which is a tremendous partner for us. So very excited about that because, we've been making a lot of strides. In this business, sometimes, there's so many regulatory hurdles that every time we go through one jump and we are able to, exceed some expectations in terms of timing, it gets us very exciting. And I think now we're just ready, waiting to make sure we do things right. So we have the right branding, the right marketing strategy, the right retailers. But once we're able to launch it, I think it will be tremendous success for the company.
Right. A consensus of 6 analysts indicates that you're projected to generate profit of at least $6.1 million in 2021. Do you feel like you're on track for that? You're going to beat it, or is it going to be a challenge to get there?
No, Jim, I'm very optimistic. The way I look at the markets in Latam as they continue to open up, being based out of Colombia, we have a tremendous team that is not really that costly for us. And the markets are opening up in 2021. When we see Colombia, Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina, and what we're doing in Europe, I'm very, very confident that we'll not only beat it, but we will always exceed expectations.
Yeah, you bet. You recently made a few key executive appointments to boost your penetration into Europe. What is the significance of these individuals, and how is the European sort of strategy going for you?
Well, Jim, these companies are built on great teams. I'm very lucky to be able to lead a company with such fantastic talent. And it always starts with us on regulation. If you don't master regulation, it's going to be hard to be a leader in the field. And that's sort of what we were trying to go for with the team that we're bringing from Europe. Where we see Europe is that it's a very interesting market, of course, with a higher GDP per capita, higher consumption rates, more knowledge of CBD. And we've been going to Europe many months since January of this year, particularly with Quira. We're starting to see how the European market looks at our Quira products as something that's really interesting. And something that's very exciting because of the quality and because of this narrative and the brand that we built. So then we start looking at, well, why can't we take our brands and our knowledge and our education to Europe? And that's sort of the story that we start thinking to ourselves, how do we bring the right team that wants to help us build that platform in Europe? And considering everything that we've done with LATAM. And we're very excited about bringing these first two executives to our team. There will be a lot of accomplishments that we'll be talking about in the next 6 months in Europe, and there will be a significant part of it. But it's all about building teams, because these companies are not built just on capital. You have to have the right people that know and understand the regulations, the market, to make sure that we are successful. So we're very happy about that.
Yeah, you bet. Alvaro, I hear no end of new companies starting up in Colombia, and they say they're getting licenses, and they're projecting a rosy future. But at this point, I'm not really aware of anybody else in Latin America who's got penetration into the major markets. Are there any other cannabis companies that have the level of penetration that Khiron has achieved at this point?
Well, Jim, I think I could say there's probably 8 to 10 companies that we've known for a long time who are part of the guild that we co-founded about a year and a half ago. I think it's always good to be able to work alongside great companies. What I'm not seeing really is more than the usual suspects that we all know from Colombia, who started this business a couple of years ago. I'm not seeing that much anymore, but there's a lot of excitement about Colombia, but there's also the challenges of starting a little bit late. And as you talked about it with the capital markets, I think it's getting harder and harder to enter, because there's companies like us and a couple of more orders that started earlier. And in this industry, as you know, and Canada has shown it, if you are one of the first ones, you're going to have a significant advantage, at least in the short term. So I think it's exciting times for Colombia. I think it's exciting times for Latin America. But I think Colombia, the companies that started this 10 years ago, these are the companies I'm seeing leading the industry. I mean, everybody has a different strategy. My strategy and our company's strategy is to dominate the domestic markets. We're not that interested in the export of raw product. But that's because, we come from a more pharmaceutical background. And as for the rest, I think I've seen a lot of tremendous positive news. And it's always good that the rest of the companies that started this industry have great news, because you cannot build a successful restaurant in an empty street. So we're rooting for the industry, and I'm very excited to see what the rest of the companies are doing, and it's all good news for us.
Yeah, you bet, Alvaro. Well, I'm excited to be coming down to see you at the end of September, and so sounds like you're making great progress, and I really look forward to seeing you then.
Oh, well, absolutely, Jim. I was just reminding, the last time you were here was February 2018. I'm really excited to take you to the site, because it's, of course, changed dramatically and tremendously. And I'm sure you will be very, very impressed. Thank you for everything you have been doing for us. And we're looking forward to seeing you here.
You bet. I can't wait to see you, Alvaro. Thanks very much.
All right, Jim. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the team. Bye.
Same to you. Anyways, so Khiron's did a bit of a, nice bounce in the last couple days.
Bounce, but not with the same energy that we've seen. And I'm not talking about Khiron, I'm talking about the market. I'm just saying, like weed today, looks like, it's trying to bottom. Here it is, it's unchanged.
Unched.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the cannabis market
great news on WeedMD, up 2 cents. Duh.
Duh.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? I don't think. Well, see, that's just it.
We're not being critical of companies here. We're talking about the market conditions.
Well,
a lot of guys are underwater now on big cannabis stocks, so their bravado has been
stepped back a bit, walked back. They walked it back.
Stand down.
Stand down. Soft.
Soft. I've been soft before.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus.
God.
Yeah.
Anyways, looking at our indexes now, it's only the Canadian Venture Index is down. But look at this is really interesting. The small cap index is up 9.12%, and the CSE index is up 9%. CSE index is dominated by American players, but the small cap index that's curious. Like what is the driving force there? Chemisys International added 16 cents today, up almost 20%. M. Hardeen Group, up 11.43%. CanTrust, what? CanTrust is up 21 cents today. I guess everything's back to good again.
Oh, here we go.
Those rooms were licensed after
Here we
all.
go.
Could you imagine if they came out and the government said, oops, we made a mistake. We just found your license and sorry. That would be hilarious.
What?
God, would that stock take off in a northward direction? That would actually catalyze a full reversal in the whole market.
Let's start a rumor.
Let's start a rumor. Hey, did you hear?
Yeah.
We got a call. Apparently, Eric Paul got a call from Health Canada, and they said, sorry, we just found your license for those 12 rooms. Our mistake. Our apologies. We're sending back your cannabis, and we're letting it going to be sold in the store. No, that ain't going to happen.
That ain't going to happen.
We wish, and so does Eric Paul and others at, and certainly Mr. Aceto wishes that too. But anyways, we digress. We really have fun at the expense of others around here.
Yeah,
don't we?
you gotta keep laughing because what's the alternative?
But yeah, look at Charlotte's Web added $1.07 today, up almost 5%.
Well, we commented yesterday that it was down from about $28 down to $21.
Yeah, but this is the second day with quite a meaningful bounce in the cannabis stocks. Now,
they were so overdone, though. They were really overdone.
So, but is this technical in nature? Because fundamentally, there was really nothing to happen that would be considered a sector-wide catalyst to the upside, would you say?
Yeah, well, whether it's up or down based on what really doesn't matter.
Maybe it's just everybody's in a good mood heading into Labor Day, and they want it to be good, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna help that little cannabis sector a bit, and I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna buy $100,000 worth of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could buy $100,000 of everything, why would you put the money in the market? Why would you just?
Why wouldn't you?
Just go party.
Coming up next, Kim Rivers from Trulieve is talking to our Nika Domi.
Okay.
Joining me now is Kim Rivers, CEO of Trulieve Cannabis Corp, trading on the CJC as TRUL. Welcome, Kim.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for coming such a far way. You came from Florida to Toronto on my birthday, which is awesome. So thank you so much for being here.
Happy birthday. I am so honored to be your first interview. So.
I know, and this is my first interview on the show. So I'm sure everybody is excited to hear about Trulieve and all the exciting things that are coming up, because it's definitely a company that is worth getting out there more, because it's just such an inspiring story, which is why I'm really pushed to have you here, and it's just amazing. So I'm really curious about how this whole thing started. How did Trulieve come about? What were the first thoughts and that kind of led to this?
So Trulieve started back in 2014 in Florida. And so when Florida first passed the medical cannabis law, it was CBD only. And initially, the legislature really wanted to have a policy around keeping companies in Florida and kind of as an alternative agriculture investment. And so the rules were that you had to have a nursery that was in business for a minimum of 30 years with a license to grow a minimum of 400,000 plants.
Oh, wow.
So it was very specific, and it was going to be a lottery. So the state was divided into regions because then the legislature didn't want all of the investment coming from South Florida, where most of the population is in Florida. And it was going to be a lottery that was challenged by actually now the company that is Trulieve. It was cost Costa Farms at the time. And they said, no, we need this to be competitive. We want this to be, best of breed, and we want this to be a competitive process. And so at that point, in the region where Trulieve is based, which is northwest Florida, there were 5 companies that qualified, 5 farmers that qualified. 3 of the 5 had gotten together and decided that they were going to put their names in the hat. So, and then when it got competitive, they said, oh wait, now this is going to be really a real business, and we need to think about how we're going to pursue this. And so I was approached. My background is entrepreneurial in nature. I'm also a lawyer, so mergers and acquisitions and securities law. And so they came to me and said, Kim, would you have any interest in joining this endeavor? I said, I have no idea. Maybe. So my father was a police officer. My mom was a school teacher. And so it took me about 6 months. We toured anywhere and everywhere that would let us in across the country, and really realized that this not only is an industry that has so much potential from a growth and financial standpoint, but also it is a product that is really changing lives. And I was so inspired by having the opportunity to enter early in such an industry that has what we call a triple bottom line, and so that's how Trulieve was born.
Amazing, and you have such a great background to really. Now we're kind of unveiling what is that story that really led Trulieve to this success, because really they are known as one of the, and actually probably the most profitable company in the cannabis sector. So you're definitely known for the profits. And tell me how did that come about, that you have been kind of differentiated from other MSOs? What led to this success? What did you do differently?
Sure. Well, I mean, first of all, I would say that we didn't know that there would be any other way than to start a company with an eye on becoming profitable. As I mentioned, we have a board that's comprised of successful multi-generational business owners, and are very focused on fundamentals. And that's what we've always been very focused on fundamentals. Number one. Number two, I would say that we really, in the beginning, started off with this thesis of building the best cannabis brand that is patient and customer focused in the state. And we wanted to prove that we could actually penetrate a market. And so as opposed to going, very wide and shallow, I would say we decided to go more narrow but very deep, and to get to scale. And so I think through that decision, we have been able to really focus on supply chain, really focus on efficiencies, but most importantly, really focusing on building that brand that is customer first. And that's been, I would say, the secret, if you will, to our success.
Definitely, and the focus is very important, because sometimes we think that multiples and being kind of covering so many areas would be a good thing, but then there's only one CEO for the company, right? And how can you really focus on so many different states and so many different locations when, for example, Trulieve has been known as focused just mostly in the Florida, and look at how amazing that's become. Customers know you, they seem to love you. It's just such an amazing story. Tell me, what do customers say, and why do they like Trulieve so much?
So we say that we don't have customers; we have Trulievers, and so so we have a very loyal and repetitive customer base, and one of the primary qualities that we bring to the customer is that personal relationship. And so I say often that I believe that the company that eventually will win, certainly in the United States and I think in the world, are those that can form authentic relationships with their customers. Yes. And so that authenticity is very important. Products, of course, and product quality and consistency is also extremely important. So we have over 230 SKUs that we develop in-house at Trulieve, and we distribute those across our product lines. This industry, as you know, is just rapidly evolving from technology to innovation. So being on the front lines and being able to deliver products that have those benefits on a consistent basis to our customers is also very important. And just like there are plenty of other retail experiences that we can equate, similar to a Starbucks. When you go into a Starbucks, whether it's here in Toronto, which I was just at this morning, or whether it's down in Florida and Miami, you're going to have a very similar customer experience. And so we really bring that sense of consistency and sense of authenticity to our relationships.
Exactly. So that way, when you're focused in this area where you're in Florida, so focused, that allows the clients to really get to know you. And I always say, because I come from a retail background as well, the clients are the ones who will be bringing the revenues to the companies. And I think sometimes companies get so caught up in this whole stock market and all that other pressure that comes from so many different areas that they forget that relationship with the clients. And the clients are the ones who will be bringing the purchases and the revenues to the company, which will be later reported to the stock market and all the shareholders. And so sometimes shareholders have to relax for a moment, right? and just let the company do their thing and really watch how they relate to the clients, right? And I see with Trulieve, I see you on Twitter, and I see, the company posting such nice communication all the time. So you're really staying in touch with the shareholders and with the clients. So I could really see that branding working. And branding is so important, right?
It really is. It really is important.
Branding
because
is huge.
As we know, this space is evolving so quickly, and as we penetrate additional markets, right, having that brand recognition in a state with 21 million people in Florida and really being the market leader there, we believe will resonate. And we have folks from out of state asking all the time, well, when are you coming? When is Trulieve going to be in my neighborhood?
Well, I'd
or
like
my
to see
community?
Trulieve in Canada.
Sure, right. So it really has given us a wonderful opportunity to create brand, and again to create scale and to learn what it is that having a true scaled business in this space looks and feels like, so that we can then, as we move into other markets, learn from those lessons and more quickly get to scale as we move to other opportunities. And
where are you moving? Is there any plans? I know that you're in California as well. You're in, was it Connecticut?
That's right.
Yeah. And so where else are you, and how is that working out?
Sure. So our next state that we're putting some major attention and focus on is Massachusetts.
Oh, nice.
And so we're building out our Massachusetts cultivation facility now. And so that will be coming online in Q1 of next year.
Okay.
And start contributing to revenue for 2020, which we're
very
very excited
fast.
about. It's very fast. Massachusetts is a very interesting market. It's very different than some other markets. And each one of these markets, as we know, it's like 50 different states that or 50 different countries that you're operating within.
Exactly. Different cultures within them.
That's true. And also just, because again, there is no crossing state lines with respect to products or cultivation. And so it really is learning and understanding the regulations and the regulatory framework, and then your customer base in every market that you approach. And so in Massachusetts, there's supply constraints right now. And so really focusing on that quality product, we think will be important for us to gain trust within that state.
Very well. So Massachusetts, Connecticut, California, and definitely Florida, and hopefully soon Canada, maybe.
Maybe, you never know. You never know. So we're looking at opportunities all the time.
And how many dispensaries total right now do you have?
So right now we have 31.
Wow.
We are looking forward to a very exciting September, and are on track to exit the year with 44 dispensaries just in Florida.
Thanks very much, Kim, and join us tomorrow for the second part of this interview between 3 and 4 p.m. on Midas Letter here on YouTube.
If you're enjoying the show, subscribe to Midas Letter on YouTube so you stay up to date on everything investment.
No, you didn't.
I think so.
You said you got a 35.
No, I meant that's the current price. Yeah. Anyways, so Trulieve, how about that? Florida.
31 dispensaries.
And I asked Kim while she was leaving, I said, are you going to expand into the rest of the world? And she said, no, we're going to focus on the United States, because why would they go elsewhere? And that's probably, why would you go elsewhere if you're in the US of A? Because if you're in the US
a nice practical answer, like aspirations of
grandeur,
conquering the universe. Stick to your knitting. Congratulations.
Yeah. So that was...
that stock's done well, too, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, stock's done really well. Let's pull up a chart here.
What is it?
TRL.
No, it's not TRL. TRU.
TRUL, sorry. There we go.
And where is that trade?
CSC. By the time you have that, I'll be up.
And we're off and racing.
Wow, look at that.
Well, maybe it hasn't done so well.
Huh. How did that happen?
There's a 1 month chart. Look at this. Oh, this thing is, wow.
Whoa.
That's down from $20 down to $10. Here, cut in half.
Look at this. Look at this, though. How about that for a chart? Oh, I've got my percentages up. That's just for intraday. Let's go regular here. Yeah, 1047. Oh, that's a day chart. Let's step back to the 1 year look here, shall we? Okay, so it's coming back from off the April highs of $20.74. So yeah, 50%. So it's reflecting the sector.
Yeah. You know what? And I mean, but this is a real business. They have 31 dispensaries apparently in Florida.
Yeah. The trick is to now let's look at the recent 5 days. In the last 2 days, and the bounce back. This is what we're looking for here. And, came up, did well yesterday, mimicked the market exactly. The market took profits towards the end of the day. And then today, same thing, mimicking the market, but actually selling off a little bit more, people taking more profit. But so this is the thing. The market is, despite the fact that it's had a couple of days up, it still isn't necessarily looking...
A lot of times mining companies, when they start into production, the stock has never been higher. And because when production starts, they lose money and things don't happen the way you thought they would. Look at weed today, down 12 cents now. Yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
So,
we are focusing more on precious metals, a bit of a sell-off on both gold and silver today. That's to be expected. They were both in severely overbought territory. And I appropriately had my ass handed to me for the insolence of choosing that day when it's the most overbought to step into a triple leveraged ETF to the long side. That's just because I am a bit of a masochist and I do like to feel a little pain. I like to see my own blood on my hands at my own causing. So yes, that makes me a sick fuck, I know, but that's just the kind of person you're going to have to deal with here, people. The gentleman that I talked to early today, and I want to point out, I'm going to give you my assessment of this company. This is the kind of junior mining play that you want to be involved with. It's got a great capital structure, it's got great management, it's got Newmont as a shareholder and a neighbor, and that's important that it's both a shareholder and a neighbor. And in the last financing, Newmont paid a 44% premium to this company to be involved, to maintain their, I think he said 13% interest. So the CEO of the company, Normand Champagny, was here, and we had a conversation. Here that is. I'm joined now by Normand Champagny. He is the chef de la direction, the CEO of, I'm reading the French side, Quebec Precious Metals. That's what's going on here. Normand, welcome.
A pleasure to be here.
Yes, Normand. So tell me about this project. I've had some preliminary discussion, and I was so excited. I said, wait a sec, stop the conversation. Let's get this on camera right away. Tell me about it.
So we're also very excited because this project was created through the creation of a company by combining two existing companies a year ago with the support of what is today Newmont Gold Corp, our largest shareholder, the largest pension fund in Quebec, Caisse de dépôt, and management, and a few other shareholders, to find the next Eleanor mine in this area of Quebec called James Bay, which most people recognize as the new Abitibi. This is new BTB, but good infrastructure today, where you can explore all year round and drill. And this is what we're doing, drilling to make this big and eventually find a buyer to have the buyer buy the deposit and put it into production.
And Newmont sounds like they're a built-in buyer, at least they've got first look.
They have vested interest because they have invested, Goldcorp has invested 1.4 billion Canadian dollars to build this mine. They're running the mine, but obviously they want to run this for a long time, so they need other sources of gold in the area, and that could be a logical one. We're about 90 kilometers crow fly from from the mine.
Interesting. One of the things that attracts me most about the company is the fact that you guys, did a $5 million raise at the height of the misery of the gold market, arguably, although back in June it was starting to show some signs, but nobody thought it was going to do that. You did it with 3 checks. Newmont, as a participant with a right of first refusal on future financings in a down gold market, while still only having 40 some odd million shares issued and outstanding, to me is a remarkable feat of championship, and I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
How is it that this company has been so advanced with over 100 drill holes, as you said earlier, with such little dilution?
Well, we did consolidation of the shares of the 2 companies before, so we have a good share structure. And that was also important to attract new shareholders, including Newmont. We had lots of work done on the project, but it was a joint venture before, and the 2 joint venture partners on their own couldn't really advance it very fast. So we have over 30,000 meters of drilling that has been done. We could calculate a resource today, but we want to keep drilling to make it big enough and attractive to meet the threshold that you need to have, say around 2 million ounces, to make this a very worthwhile project for a company like Newmont or other major companies that may be interested to come and mine this.
You bet. All right, why don't you show me some of the location and geological relativity to other mines and everything?
So this is the Eleanor mine, 90 kilometers away, and we have the property boundaries here shown where we are on the border of the Sakami Reservoir. Distance is about 23 kilometers. Well, 23 kilometers is roughly the equivalent of what is the Val-d'Or gold mining camp. And on there, we've been focusing on an area called La Pointe, where we've done, as I mentioned earlier, about 30,000 meters of drilling. And we can see that by going below. So we can see the intersection that we have of the gold-bearing rocks. We have an horizon that's continuous, and we can see that here on surface by projecting the same drill hole intersection. There are 2 zones. The larger one is shown in pale green. What's interesting also is that this point here, this is what we call La Pointe, but there's another point. We've done some soil sampling that works quite well to find gold, and that we believe represents the extension. We've been doing some work this summer, and we're getting ready to drill that area in the fall to extend the zone to the northwest, and that could be doubling the size of potential area where we can find gold.
How much drilling is planned?
At least 10,000 meters, maybe up to 15,000 meters.
A real drill program.
A real drill program.
Yes.
This is James Bay.
Okay.
We are here on a flagship project. We also have other projects that we are working on, but primarily with the intention of selling or optioning them. There are First Nation communities. They're well serviced. They also are involved heavily in servicing the mine. Okay. Fly in, fly out.
And you have engaged with them?
We have engaged with them. The trap line owners have spent time at WeedMD. They're very supportive. In Quebec, in that region of Quebec, we have an agreement with the Cree called the Paix des Braves, which ensures that they get revenue as they continue to support industrial development. So they're very keen to see more happening in the area. Sure. We have a paved road here, which that's actually paved.
Oh, okay.
And here we have a winter road that is about 30 kilometers. These are in purple power lines, Hydro-Quebec lines, built in the 70s. So good infrastructure. Yes, you're further north. It costs a little bit more to do things, but you can work 12 months of the year. And for exploration, you need camps. We can take the supplies to the site. You don't need helicopters very much, except to carry some emergency supply and sometimes people.
Sounds great, Normand. Well, I thank you for the presentation, because that's a great project by the looks of things. I do believe I will be a participant in the shares. Thank you very much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing to our YouTube channel and clicking on the little notifications bell. If you're interested in getting monthly actionable investment ideas in the cannabis space to your inbox, subscribe to the newsletter at MidasLetter.com.
You can get him to
Yeah.
give us a
Hey,
back off.
welcome back. I don't know why.
Hey. I must have about that. Pull up your pants, sir. Jesus.
Whoa, turn on the little air thing. Hey, we're back, everybody.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Where's Ed? He's under the table.
Hey.
Whoa.
It's like a ride. Ah!
Did you say where's head or where's Ed?
No.
Jesus, stop.
Whoa,
No.
Whoa, go back.
Hey, I'm
go back.
going to be 68 years old soon, so I can say what the hell I want, okay?
Yeah, well, I'm just
I have no memory. I have no memory.
Compared to you, I'm just a young'un.
You are.
Yeah.
Young
Anyways,
chicken.
Boy, been a long time since anybody's called me a young chicken.
Yeah, what about Rooster?
Well, Rooster. Now we're talking.
Okay, so yeah, we're looking at some things here, folks. Always interesting.
Here's an interesting comment from one of our viewers called Habslayer. Now, I've never seen this name on our list before, but hello, Habslayer, and thank you for the intelligent question. How will a Supreme Court ruling against vertically integrated marijuana companies affect Trulieve?
We've got some very smart viewers.
What the hell? What?
Wow.
Habslayer, if you're still with us here, what Supreme Court ruling are you referring to? Have we missed something in the news today? Like, boy.
Are they going to basically say certain people can only be involved in certain
things?
Like, in other words, if you're a grower, you're a grower. If you're extract,
if you're a toker, you can't be a smoker. I'm a midnight toker. Did my loving on the run.
Was that? Who is that? Who is that?
Steve Miller Band.
Yeah.
Fly like an eagle. Reefer Aljoint says we're getting cocky. Getting?
No.
Jesus, did we say that?
No, we're not.
So big hellos to some of our favorite people here who have been our loyal and trusted friends for many months now. I would say many years, but it hasn't been many years. That Reefer Aljoint, foremost amongst them. Nika Domi, of course. Let's see, Carl Bowden is here, as per usual. Let's see, who else? What else do I recognize here? Mr. Lou 1990. There's somebody who's been here off and on every day, I would say. Great to see you guys. Really appreciate the support. Mary Kemp, excuse me. Faye Smith, sorry. How could I forget? How could I screw up so bad? Let's see, Toro Loco. Interesting. No questions about the float. Oh, did I forget to ask about the float, or is that Nika? Anyways, yeah. So Henrik Slogenbaum from where was he from? Belgium, I think. Can't remember. Hello to you all, and thanking you all for your support. Let's see. Let's close out Thursday with a look at Trulieve Cannabis. We looked at Trulieve. Let's take a pick and figure out who is the best trading cannabis stock in our universe of Canadian cannabis stocks today, or CSE listed US stocks. We can.
What?
I don't know. He's saying something, but I can't quite hear him. He sounds like he's come in my office. Oh, yeah, no, never mind that. That's not going to work. We're just having a conversation on here.
Yeah, you know what? I just realized something.
What's that?
I don't have my.
You didn't know what was going on either.
Fincana
Capital up 28%. Fincana, symbol CALI. This is a company that does real estate projects for cannabis in California. Boy, I haven't heard much from them in a long time. Really didn't get a chance to catch the wind on any of the cannabis market, but maybe it's the next wave. And there's the question, is this actually starting to show signs of a major next wave? The CSE index up a total of 8.1%. If we just hit reload here and get the list reordered according to who's the largest. So Cresco, largest by market cap, gained a paltry 5 cents, up 0.46% to 10.89. Curaleaf added 31 cents or 3.45%. Harvest Health and Recreation added 7 cents, up 1.18%. Those are the big ones. Green Thumb lost 2.21%, down to 11.53, and Trulieve, as we said, up 1.4%, 15 cents up to 10.50. Acreage Holdings, look at Acreage, down to $7.77. This is a company that people paid $25 a share for back in September of last year, and oh my God, they must be some pissed off individuals.
Yeah. There was several that went out right around. Remember that time, and they were sloppy in the first day of trading, second day, and it just and it was in a time when things were looking
dicey,
and
they made the mistake of upsizing that private placement. Fatal error on their part.
Oh,
you know, that was in case you're watching, Kevin Kevin Murphy, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, is upsizing an offering to fill all the demand. When you should have left it where it was, you would have left some demand on the table for the day you went public. And that's that in combination with the
bankers got their fees though.
Well, let's not beat up on the bankers.
No. I'm not beating up on them, but somebody won.
Yeah, that's true. Good point, Ed.
I'm just saying.
The bankers always get paid. Good point.
Bank it. Look at
That's
this.
right.
Look at
But the other thing, if you'll notice, now we're going to build a chart next week. We're going to look at all the companies that did super voting structures, and let's see where they all stand.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's
Tilray.
Tilray is now one.
Anchorage Farms, MedMen. Like, you show me a super voting structure,
MedMen's going to make you a madman.
MedMen is 257.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's still it's still in the running. MedMen made let's not talk about the mistakes that are going to be made. We all know that as soon as federal deprohibition happens in the U.S., that all these stocks who are there are going to do well. But again, I'll bet you 5 will get you 20 that says the companies with super voting structures will not perform as well as those with non-super voting structures. In other words, where a share is a vote. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's our show for today. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. We need you to subscribe.
You want a subscription or a prescription?
A prescription.
You keep talking like that, you're going to need a prescription.
I need a prescription. Damn it.
You know what?
Thank you for watching. Come back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. It's the last day of August.
Don't subscribe.
Filthy.